Well, look at what we have here. Some playoff mayhem. I've been looking for this since the spring. The hockey playoffs has been absolutely crazy. The NHL has delivered. Even though there have been no game sevens in the first round, they still found a way to deliver. As for basketball, well, we've seen some crazy results the first couple of days, but it's kind of normalized. Either way, still playoff mayhem. I'm Jotham Israel, and alongside Andrew Hale, we are back for episode number 6 of Top of the Standings. But first, a word from our amazing sponsor, Anchor. Drew, I watched some game film, aka episode 4, and ran back our playoff predictions for the Stanley Cup. And we had a pretty interesting first round, didn't we?
I'd say so. I was about to kind of almost be worried about where this was going, but then I realized I went 5 out of 6, so pretty successful in the first round for me.
5 out of 6.
Yeah.
Wait, there are 8 series. You're excluding the obvious ones? Since the Flyers and the Canadians and the Golden Knights and the Blackhawks are pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Let me redo my math because I went 5 out of 8 in total, and excluding those 2 wins, that means outside of the 12-1 matchups, I went 3 and 6.
That is
Mediocre.
Yeah, it's not bad, honestly. It's not.
Yeah, I had some highlights. The Canucks Blues is definitely my best highlight, without a doubt. Because it's the only series that I disagreed with you, and I was correct. The only one.
Yeah. Actually, not the only one. You did pick the Capitals.
No, but I'm saying like I lost. I lost that Capitals badly. I lost that badly.
Oh, so you're saying you disagreed in one. Gotcha.
Yeah, because you said Blues, I said Canucks, and the Canucks won. Dude, I went undefeated in the West. Eastern Conference, different story. Different story. So, and then here's what I want to bring up, Andrew. So, my favorite number is 10, but I think I found a new rival number. A rival number. You heard that right. So, what is my rival number? Well, it's half a 10. 5. You want to know why I say that? I
Why?
said the Blue Jackets were going to beat the Lightning. Columbus loses in 5. I said the Hurricanes were going to beat the Bruins. Carolina loses in 5. I said that the Capitals were going to beat the Islanders. Guess how much they lost by? They lost in 5 games. So the number 5, when I chose somebody in the East, the number 5 has always came up and just discarded my pick. It was so crazy.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for you.
Yes, for me. For you, you got the bulk of your picks correct. Unfortunately, the Hurricanes one was your
Dude.
worst one.
They were my Stanley Cup winner, and then they go out in the first round. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, I obviously dug up some quotes too. I told you I watched game film. You specifically said Carolina is my Stanley Cup winner, but to both of our points, they had some bad injuries. I mean, the injury to Jordan Stahl at one period, and then Andrei Svechnikov. Those were a couple of big injuries for us, and it wasn't the same team that we saw sweep the Rangers. It wasn't the same high flying playmaking team that beat those Rangers.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and you knew the Boston Bruins were going to break out eventually. Especially now that they had David Pastrnak back. Even though
Yeah.
Tuukka Rask was gone, I mean, the Bruins just seemed to, be the Bruins.
Yeah, and I wasn't really that surprised because, as you said, the Bruins are the Bruins. They've never really had a bad, first two. I'm going to say first two. Technically, first playoff series. Like, they struggled in the round robin, and then they obviously got back on track, beating Carolina in 5. So, not too surprised there.
Yeah, they really handled their business. I mean, I got to give the Bruins props, even though I hate them. Um, but their opponent is also another hated team of ours. Well, a team of yours. I actually personally like the Lightning, but the Lightning and the Blue Jackets. This series could have swung in so many different ways, but The Lightning won those two overtime games, and that pretty much sealed their fate for Columbus.
Yeah, after that first game, it just seemed like the teams were almost tired. Honestly, I feel like both of the teams really wanted the series to be over with, and then we saw it go into overtime again and again, and it just fell in Tampa Bay's favor, really.
Yeah, it started with a Braden Point overtime goal. It ended with a Braden Point overtime goal.
Yeah, it did. It was a pretty exciting series, though. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the Lightning, but they were my pick for that series.
Yeah, I mean, bittersweet, right? You got it right, but you wish you kind of got it wrong at the same time.
Well, at least they play the Bruins, so it's a whoever loses loses, and I'll be fine with whoever loses. One of them has to get eliminated.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful playoff series for in your eyes because one of them has to go down.
Yes.
But yeah, that'll be a very interesting. And we'll get to second round picks later. But I was actually kind of worried with the Flyers Canadian series for a split second. I was very worried for a split second, dude.
Yeah, it seemed like there was so many momentum shifts. 1 minute, then another minute, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I enjoyed the back and forth, hits after hits, and then little scrums in the corners, and then mini like brawls, groups of people trying to go at it. I enjoyed the bad blood, as we've said in episodes past.
Yeah, and that's not even an hyperbole. Like there was literally blood shed in this series.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was a very good very good comparison. But dude, I mean, like you said, a lot of momentum shifts. Game one went to the Flyers, and after that, it was just basically mayhem. I mean, the Canadians shut out, blew out, and took out the Flyers 5-0, and I'm just like, this series is tied. It doesn't feel right, but the series is tied. And then next thing you know, Carter Hart says, I'm coming to the rescue. Two shutouts. And I'm just like, whoa, this dude, Carter Hart, is something else. And then,
yeah.
Canadians win game five. They're like, no, we're not done yet. And then Flyers close it out game six. So pretty dramatic for, a 12-1 matchup or 8-1, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I enjoyed the series. I enjoyed the consistent tension between the two teams. I enjoyed it really.
Yeah, I really did too. Even though my championship pick was in danger, some danger. Um, yeah, they pulled through, and they have a date with the Islanders, who wow, that series was the most underwhelming. Wow, ouch.
Yeah, when I made that pick and I said I think the Capitals will continue on track with choking in the first round, I honestly had no idea who was going to win the series. I just said Islanders because why not? And I'm glad I said that because they played well.
You said Islanders because why not? Oh my gosh, dude. I'm gonna tell you something. I looked up the stats, bro. Dude, I'm thinking. I said Alex Ovechkin was gonna have one of those series where he excels. My guy, I believe he was like a -1 the whole series, in goal differential, and he had 5 points in 5 games. That I mean, this mediocre-ish, but it's not what I expected from Ovechkin. But I'm thinking, okay, I mean, they still have a good team around them. They got T.J. Oshie and Lars Eller and Evgeny Kuznetsov. Andrew, Evgeny Kuznetsov was a -3, and TJ Oshie was a whopping -7 on the ice, my guy. I'm sitting here and I'm just like, oh my gosh, these guys are getting. It's just like, whoa, what is going on here? And it wasn't even close. It went to 5 games, yes, but it was not like the Blues Lightning 5 games. Though these 5 games that the Islanders and the Capitals played, it wasn't even close. And game four, it was just kind of like the Islanders was like, okay, I guess we won't sweep you because your coach, you didn't coach you guys. Like it was like the Islanders were toying around with the Capitals, and it just embarrassed me, dude. It was just like, oh my gosh, the Islanders are like that.
Yeah, and kind of similar to what I'm about to bring up. In the first game, I remember it seemed like the Capitals were really mad because I just remember watching a highlight of Ovechkin after I think he hit an Islanders player with his stick, and the crew in the NHL studios, they suspected a suspension coming for Ovechkin. And I could just tell that the 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 Islanders were toying with them because they really got the Capitals agitated. You saw Tom Wilson go at it with every single player on the Islanders, and I personally would not want to get in a fight with Tom Wilson, but you could tell something was up in the series.
Yeah, dude, it was not as close, not nearly as close as I expected. It felt like a sweep. That game 4 felt like a fluke. It really
Yeah,
did. Um, and just wow, dude. I did not have much luck calling the shots in the East outside of the Flyers. No luck at all whatsoever for me. But I'm going to brighten myself up and shift over to the West where I went undefeated. Um, well, the Golden Knights and the Blackhawks was a bit of a better series than I expected it to be.
yeah,
It wasn't like it was Vegas 4, Chicago nothing every single game. You know, it was close. Couple of one score games. You know, it was a decent series. You know.
I agree. I definitely did not expect it from the Blackhawks, but I'm glad. As much as I dislike the Blackhawks, I'm glad they turned it into a semi-exciting series.
Yeah, you know, it's just some little something to put on television. You know, just something
Yeah,
something for Chicago fans to talk about. Speaking of
yeah, get the
Chicago
views up.
fans, remember I told you there was one of my friends that said they were gonna make a Stanley Cup run.
Yeah.
What is he thinking right now? I do not know, but I'm definitely gonna ask him, dude. You did say they were going to march to the Stanley Cup, and they only won one playoff game after that. My guy,
Yeah, yeah.
that's bad. Okay,
That is really bad. That's one of the worst picks from I think that may be even worse than my Carolina Stanley Cup pick.
yeah, that definitely is worse. It really is. But another kind of predictable matchup was the Coyotes and the Avalanche. Although the Coyotes put up a bit of a fight until they couldn't in the last game. It was absolute demolition.
Yeah, I was impressed with the Coyotes. I think we all knew that they were not going to get past the Avalanche, who I'm not going to say yet, but they look like a true Stanley Cup contender. Um, but yeah, the Coyotes they put up a decent fight, similar to the Blackhawks until the last game. So not a bad series. It was decent.
Yeah, game 4 could have been kind of like a momentum swing game because the Coyotes won game 3 and they were getting back in it, trying to get back in it, and then well Colorado just closed the door on them.
Yeah.
But man, we had two very entertaining series in the West. Two very entertaining series. But I want to start with what I thought was the series of the first round. Stars and the Flames.
Yeah, I remember you texted me. You're like, the Flames want Game 7, and then we saw that the Stars wasn't it 7 unanswered goals
Yeah, we saw something 7, all right. Wasn't a game 7, it was just 7 straight goals from Dallas.
after they were down 3-0. Now that's impressive.
Yeah, it reminded me of the Chiefs when they went on that Super Bowl run. Down
Hey,
24 zip, won 51-31. It just reminded me of Kansas City.
hey, that's a good comparison too. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, now could Dallas march all the way to the Stanley Cup? I don't think so, but
I don't think so either.
we'll have to wait and see. We never know, right?
Yeah, we got to clip that just in case it happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna clip this for future reference just in case Dallas wins the Stanley Cup. I'll go back to Texas and play some baseball arcade games again. Get some approval from the Texas fans.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. But man, I think my prediction of the first round undoubtedly has to be Canucks Blues because that was a bold pick. That was a bold pick, and it paid off.
It really was, and I honestly didn't agree with the pick whatsoever, but you sure proved me wrong because I was like, no way that the Blues, the reigning Stanley Cup champions, are gonna go out like that. I said Jordan Binnington, he was so impressive in their series last year in their Stanley Cup run,
Hmm.
but then he allows 13 goals in 2.5 games, so
Yeah,
not a good performance.
no, it was when you have both of your goaltenders splitting equal time in the series in a 6 game series. That's how you know you have major questions about your goaltending.
Yeah, and it wasn't pretty to watch either. It was hard.
Yeah, if you're a Blues fan, yeah, but watching the Canucks score all those goals, that
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. I mean, this is a young, talented Canucks team, and it's a big reason why I had the guts to pick them over the Blues. I mean, just looking at how they scored their goals, they're so fast. With with the speed is just something that I as a new hockey fan, I haven't seen just yet. These guys, they're pretty quick. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty cool series to watch, and something that I wanted to keep in mind, Andrew. So last year when the Blues beat the Jets in the first round, it was very similar. St. Louis took the first 2 games, then Winnipeg took the next two, and then St. Louis took the last two.
Mm.
Well, the script got flipped in this series. Vancouver took the first two, St. Louis took the next two, and then the Canucks took the last two. So I thought that was pretty coincidental.
Yeah, that is a very, very interesting point you brought up. But back to what you said about the speed and how exciting the Canucks are to watch. I remember watching a Red Wings game earlier when the season was still going
Hmm.
on, and they brought up Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson. And ever since I saw those two absolutely destroy the Red Wings, I have been impressed. Both of those players are spectacular, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they can keep it going, right? Because I feel like they have some a bright future ahead of them. I really do.
I agree. And who knows if you think that the Canucks could beat the Stanley Cup or reigning Stanley Cup champions, why not? Why can't they make a Stanley Cup run this time?
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
knows?
And speaking of that, you know what? Let's get into these second round picks, man. I mean, we trimmed the field from 16 teams to 8. Why not make some more picks?
I'm ready, and I think we should start with now I have to go with my Stanley Cup favorite, and that is the Vegas Golden Knights. I hope I am correct with this pick. I'm picking them over the Canucks. I feel like that the Golden Knights are a better team. One thing I do question though is Marc Andre Fleury. Why is he the backup? That is what I do not get. And I feel like if he is starting in this series, I feel like the Golden Knights definitely have a better chance. But I just like their starting lineup. I feel like that will again win them this series.
Oh wow! I mean, I got faith in the Golden Knights, man. I mean, ever since their inaugural season where they ran to the Stanley Cup final, um, they really caught my eye, and I really don't think that even though they blew a 3-1 lead to the Sharks last year, I really think they're still a very great, motivated young team, and I really do like what I've seen from the Golden Knights. I mean, number one seed for a reason, right? However,
Yeah.
however,
Uh-oh.
I am going with the upset again. I'm picking the Canucks again. I really think that the Canucks are out here to make some noise, and I think they're here to stay. I got the Canucks going to the Western Conference Finals.
I'm not mad at the pick since they did beat the reigning Stanley Cup champion in the Blues. I'm not mad at the pick, but I don't agree. And I hope I am right in my pick with the Golden Knights. But again, if the Canucks move on, I wouldn't be upset, and I would be impressed with your eye of seeing great talent.
Yeah, I need my payback from that first round demolition.
Hey, I don't blame you.
Yeah, hey, I'm undefeated in the West, so I got confidence. Yeah.
Hopefully, you do not keep it going. All right, next. Um,
Yeah.
Avalanche and Stars. Um, this one's interesting. I got the Avalanche. I just feel like they are an overall better team, and as I said earlier, a Stanley Cup contender. So, with that being said, I think they're really really good, and I got them advancing.
Interesting. I mean, game one was last night. The Stars won it 5-3. But still, I
Yeah,
think the Avalanche will find a way to pull this one out because I mean, keep in mind, I mean, hey, Calgary won game one and they ended up losing, so
yeah,
maybe Dallas, can I mean, but Dallas is real. Dallas is a really good team. We saw how crazy their series was and how quick they can just turn the game around with a snap of a finger. Like just went from down 3-0 to up and winning 7-3. That's crazy bounce back ability. But I just don't
yeah,
think they're gonna do that against the Avalanche, man. The Avalanche, I mean, the way they dominated the Coyotes was it was so it's something that I hadn't seen in a series before. Me personally, I hadn't seen it in a series before. Back to back 7-1 victories. That's nasty. That is nasty. I don't care who
yeah,
you're playing. That is domination. And I'm not gonna say the Avalanche are gonna absolutely wipe the Stars out and sweep them because obviously that's not gonna happen. But
yeah.
I still think the Avalanche are gonna pull this one out. The talent that the team has, both teams are talented, but I just think in this series, the side of the coin is gonna flip to the Avalanche.
Yeah, similar to what you said. I know I already told everyone my pick, but you kind of brought up the point where in a matter of seconds Dallas can just pile it on. Well, I feel I do definitely agree. I feel like they're very sneaky, and I do feel like they have a chance to steal maybe one or two more games, but not. I don't think they're gonna advance. I still got the Avalanche.
Yeah, I agree, man. But let me get outside my comfort zone and shift back to the East.
Let's go. I want to see. Since you said the Flyers were your Stanley Cup champion, let's start there. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. You know, over the past like 3 days, I feel like I've had a change of heart.
Uh oh.
I think the Islanders are gonna do some crazy things. I think they're gonna. I mean, seeing the way they dominated Washington, it really scared me. It put some fear into my mind. I think the New York Islanders are going to beat the Flyers. I am I am
Wow.
I am going to yeah, I'm literally gonna pick against my original championship pick. I mean, seeing what I saw in the first round, the Canadians took the Flyers to six. The Canadians took the Flyers to 6 games, and
Yeah.
the Islanders just absolutely just dispatched the Capitals, just wiped them away like they were just another weak team. It was just it really opened my eyes. And Josh Bailey and Anthony Beauvillier, they have been going crazy, and I just see it, and I'm just like, you know what? I think this team has it in them, and they have experience. They swept the Penguins last year in the first round, only to get swept by the Hurricanes the very next round. But still, they have playoff experience, and I just wow, I think the Islanders are going to pull this one out, Drew.
Wow. Another bold pick and an upset. A a, a 6v1 upset. The other side it was 5v1, but you're taking the upset in both of those number 1 seed games.
Yeah.
That's kind of but that's bold.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, it's like, well, you know me, I say some pretty bold stuff, but on the other hand, I just look at it and I'm just like, this. I mean, this team is for real. That Islanders team is for real.
Yeah. Yeah. Your pick definitely makes sense in my eyes. Dude, this is a tough pick for me. I'm not too familiar with either team, but I like you said, I do like what I saw from the Islanders and their series against the Capitals and the Flyers. I don't know about you, but I almost seemed uneasy watching them because it seemed like any second there could have been a momentum shift, and I think the Flyers could have easily lost that series.
Hmm.
So I think I'm gonna go with the upset here too. I got Islanders. I think I'm gonna pick the Islanders.
Wow, this is I mean, this is looking real scary, man. I mean, for me, this is like a 50-50. It's like a
Yeah.
50-50ish. If my pick is wrong, then my original Stanley Cup champion is still alive. But if my pick is right, there goes my original Stanley Cup champion. I mean, it's it's like a 50-50 double, double whammy.
Yeah.
But
Hey, I think either pick is safe. I
yeah,
do.
I mean, hey, we would love to see either team, take on um you know what? I think I'm gonna dub anytime the Lightning and the Bruins meet in the playoffs. That is going to be dubbed as the hatred series.
Yeah, for me, uh, you want to hop into those picks
Yes,
right now?
dude, let's go.
I don't like either team, but I'm gonna say I do not like the Bruins as much as I hate the Lightning. I'm gonna go Bruins.
Oh my god, I never thought I'd hear the light of day.
And that is my logic for the series. Just because I hate the Lightning more than I do the Bruins. I got Bruins. I think they're gonna um wipe the floor and move on.
Wow. Well, just to make things more interesting, well, obviously not just because of that, but I'm gonna make things more interesting and go with the Lightning. Um, Not just
Okay.
because I like the Lightning more than the Bruins, but I feel like the way that the Lightning dealt with so much adversity against the Blue Jackets to get them out in 5 games, I think that I think they made a real statement to any opponent they encounter in the playoffs that, hey, we'll take you to 5 overtimes. We'll get tired and still beat you. We'll win 3 in a row against you. We will send you home on an overtime winning goal and just go on to the next team. And I feel like it's such an evenly matched series. As much as you might, as
Yeah.
disgusting
Yeah.
as it might be for you to watch a Lightning Bruins playoff series and actually be forced to root for somebody, even make a pick at that. It as much as you might hate to see that, it's going to be a very evenly matched series. I mean, both teams have habits of just snapping. You've seen it before.
Yeah.
Both teams just have
Yeah.
habits.
I definitely agree. I do think it's even match, but I just do not trust the Lightning whatsoever. In my opinion, they've been by far the best team in the regular season for the past few years. But what have they done in the playoffs? Nothing. And I don't think that's going to change. I do feel like the Bruins have better playoff history and they seem to have been the better team in the recent years. I just don't see the Lightning playing well because they really truly haven't been that dominant in the playoffs.
Interesting. What I mean, that's an understatement with this series, but I
Yeah.
mean, hey, we have two agreements and two disagreements. I mean, this should be a very, very nice
Hey,
second
I
round.
like that. Hey, someone has to have the counter argument. So,
Yeah, man. But wow, I mean, NHL, man, that this stuff is getting real, real juicy now, man.
I agree.
Yeah, man. But the NBA is joining them. I'm not even gonna cap with you. They're joining them. We saw well, some interesting results, haven't we?
Yeah, we definitely have. We I said that the Lakers are going to sweep Portland in 4, and they definitely have not done
Hmm.
that. And that is where we should start. I feel like that was so far a very exciting
Hmm.
series.
A lot of action. I mean, Dame went out and did his thing in game one, got the dub. I mean, the Lakers have taken the next two, but I mean, looking at game two, you just thought to yourself, "Uh-oh, this series might be very well over because of Dame's, dislocated left index finger. And the fact that the Blazers just got blown out, sent to the lake.
Yeah.
Hurt.
That good one. I caught that too. That honestly, I didn't feel like the left index finger dislocation was that big of a problem because we've seen a lot of players easily come back from a dislocated finger. We saw Steph the other year, but this year I just feel like they Portland cannot lose Damian Lillard, and I feel like that he can't come out of a series. And like we saw last night, he came back and he was decent. He wasn't his normal self, but he still played pretty successfully.
Yeah, dropped, 30 points, 30-ish points and stuff like that. He still did his thing. Um, I
Yeah,
mean, a lot of
that's kind of crazy saying he played unlike his normal self while still dropping 30. That's pretty crazy.
yeah, man. I mean,
It's just Dame
yeah,
time.
Dame time, man. I mean, game four. I mean, obviously, any time it's 2-1 in a series, game four is always, you know, the game that somebody steps up and puts the team on their back. So, I mean,
I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, I really am looking forward to it too, man. I mean, my exact spot on prediction is still alive. I said Lakers in 6. So yeah, let's see if I not only get the right team but the right game amount.
If one of us gets like really good success in picking the right team and in the number of games, I feel like that will be crazy because that's it's hard to pick. We've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen it from the first game of the playoffs. I was surprised. I didn't see Milwaukee losing, and you did. So I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the Magic beating Milwaukee, but I was shocked by how well Orlando played.
Who was it? I mean, it was the Orlando Magic with no Jonathan Isaac and no Aaron Gordon against freaking Giannis Antetokounmpo and a loaded Bucks team. I didn't expect that, and I said the Bucks were gonna drop one. I feel like the Bucks were gonna take their foot off the gas and drop one. I expected that game to be game 4 or game 3, maybe not game 1. Oh my god!
Yeah,
It took us by surprise, man, and
it definitely did.
yeah, it really did. What and both 8 seeds won game 1.
Yeah, that was that's pretty crazy. And I sent you a stat. It was the first time that has happened since 2003. That's crazy.
Whew, man,
And that was only the second time. This year was only the second time. The first time it happened was in 2003. It has only happened 2 times. And why not happen in 2020? I'm not surprised by that.
yeah. Who? At this point, anything can happen, right? We're talking like people talking about everything is going on in this world, and it's just like, wow. At this point, you just gotta expect the unexpected.
Yeah, definitely. Now let's move on to I think my favorite series. I really enjoyed the Clippers and Mavericks series. How about you?
Agreed, absolutely agreed. A lot of drama. Evenly matched series. I mean, so far the Clippers have a 2-1 advantage, but I mean, it's been a lot of tension. It doesn't feel like your
It has.
normal 2-7 matchup. Now, does it?
No, it doesn't. And I really was surprised by the Mavericks because when you think of the Clippers lineup, you think of you got Kawhi, you got PG, you got Montrezl Harrell or Zubac sometime. You got you got Pat Bev, obviously he's hurt, but still, I just didn't expect Kristaps Porzingis to step up, and he has been really fun to watch.
Hmm. Very fun to watch, and hey, he's coming into his own self with these playoffs, man. I'm telling you, the Dallas Mavericks. If they keep this up, they're going to be set for the next decade.
I agree, and not even Kristaps, but we've seen a little bit of Boban, and Boban seems to be unstoppable. He has an amazing field goal percentage. It's like all he has to do, grab the ball in the paint, just toss it up there, and it will go in every single time. He has been fun to watch too, surprisingly.
Yes, and it doesn't like this bubble has just discarded any doubts that we've had about you know role player type guys. Like these role player type guys like Boban and TJ Warren, they've been stepping up and they've been scoring. They've been getting buckets. They have been stepping up and doing things for their teams to put them in a position to win games. Amazing.
You want to know what I just thought about? Okay, let's say the Mavericks and Denver advances. I want to see Bobo on Boban.
Oh, ooh, that'd be nasty. Oh, that's gonna be a great matchup. That'd be such an awesome matchup.
I could just see so many blocks and just both respective players just tossing it up right with their head up against the backboard. I would love to see that series. Obviously, we've seen Bobo is a little bit more athletic, so I feel he has the advantage if that were to happen. But
Oh,
that I would not be mad if Dallas advances and so does Denver. But On the topic of Denver, what has happened?
Oh boy, I don't know what's going on with our championship picks in the first round, but yeah, after game one, it seemed pretty close. You know, it went to overtime. Nuggets pulled away in OT game one, and then the Utah Jazz just put on their superhero capes and just absolutely ham mode activated on Denver. Oh my gosh, the last two games haven't even been close. What is going on?
I feel like Donovan Mitchell was very upset that he lost that first game after scoring a career high 57 points. I knew Donovan Mitchell was good, but I did not realize he was that good.
Yeah, and not only that, Mike Conley stepped up too. He hit a career high 7 3 pointers and scored 27. Talk about a return from quarantine.
Actually, he did have practice. We saw on his horse competition on ESPN that he was ready to be a championship contender.
Oh yeah. You think?
Dude, after he won that horse competition, he was like, now I'm about to go off. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for the Jazz. I haven't done it all season, but now it's time for me to step up. And he did.
Yeah, everybody stepped up. I mean, this was the perfect Jazz game if you were a Jazz fan. Gobert dropped 24, had 14 rebounds. Conley had 27. Mitchell, I mean, he didn't even really have to do much. He only had 20 points because everybody else was carrying the load for him. It was beautiful Jazz basketball. And they got my championship pick on the heels, man.
Yeah, it really, like you said, everyone stepped up. But one acquisition that I really, really liked from Utah was at the trade deadline, they picked up Jordan Clarkson from the Cavs, and he has played great. He in
Mhm.
game two, he dropped 26 off the bench. I feel like he will be very important if Utah looks to advance in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm looking like a real dummy 3 games into the series because I said this team was very inconsistent. Um, and I said the Nuggets were deeper. Well,
I said the same thing basically, dude. I was not expecting the Jazz to be this good.
no, I was not ready for a 37 point trumpet blowout.
I just remember turning on the game and I it was like 69-107. I was like, "Huh? What is that? Is it the Nuggets 69 to 107? What is going on?" I did not expect that whatsoever.
No, I was not ready for it. And you know what? Game four is tonight. You Denver cannot afford to go down 3-1 to this team. Donovan Mitchell is not going to blow no 3-1 lead, man.
You know what I feel like Denver has to do? I feel like they have to go back to the lineup that they used in the scrimmage games because we haven't seen much of Bobo. We really haven't. And I feel like who knows, he hasn't really been in the NBA for that long other than the bubble. But I feel like if they want to be successful, they should at least give him some minutes.
Yeah, at least some, man. I mean, I wanted to see this athletic dude get on the court. Give him some experience. Give him some playoff experience, man. You got nothing to lose at this point.
I feel like that will be another key for the Nuggets to potentially steal this game. Hopefully they do. I am rooting for the Nuggets.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of stealing games, how about Chris Paul and the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Yeah, that was a crazy ending to last night's game. If you guys missed it, I think it was around 25 seconds left. The Rockets were up by 2 and it was Oklahoma City's ball. So Oklahoma City, they had the ball obviously. Chris Paul set up this beautiful play where it left Shy Gilgis Alexander in the corner, wide open for a three. He hits that. The Rockets call timeout, and then they march all the way down the court. They get fouled. Was it House who was taking the 2 free throws? I
Eric
believe it
Gordon. It
was.
was Eric
Oh,
Gordon.
was it Eric
Yeah, it
Gordon?
was Eric Gordon. The dude. Ouch.
Yeah, he Eric Gordon missed. He missed 1 free throw, and obviously he made another one because they went into overtime. But that overtime period, Jotham, do you want to tell them what happened to the Rockets?
Uh, James Harden fouled out, and they only made one field goal. That's 5 minutes in a nutshell.
Yeah, and that's a straight steal if I've ever heard one.
Yeah. As soon as I seen Harden fouled out, I was like, "This game's over. This game is over." Because
Yeah,
The Thunder didn't have as much foul trouble as the Rockets did. James Harden fouled out less than a minute into overtime. Soon as that happened, I was like, "Game over. This game is over."
yeah, and I'm gonna make a nice comparison. I feel like James Harden is the sun to the rest of the Rockets' Earth. He literally revolves. The team revolves around James Harden, and once he went out, I knew the game was over. There was no chance because when James Harden is not on the court, it's a different story. It looks like a different team, and there was no chance. There was no chance for the Rockets to even be somewhat competitive in that overtime period.
Especially with Russell Westbrook still on the bench. You have no Russ and no Harden.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're done. You're done for. But let's see the game forward. I mean, there's some good game fours on tap. We have, two potential closeout games, and we have two series that could get even more interesting than they are. But let me shift over to the underwhelming Eastern Conference. What I am very disappointed in the Sixers. Ouch.
after I saw Ben Simmons that he was hurt and basically out for the playoffs, I was like, "Yep, that's it for that's it for the Sixers." Because Ben Simmons, again, the team basically revolves around him. Yes, Tobias Harris is good and he got that big contract, but now looking back on it, was that the right contract to give? Because again, he is a good player, but he really hasn't brought the team to success. Him and Joel Embiid can't do it themselves, and that was my reason for taking Boston. And I knew it wasn't going to be close because it's Boston against a hurt and underarmed Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, and Joel Embiid, to put it quite honestly, he choked. He
Yeah,
choked in game three. Yeah, yeah, this is a big disappointment, man. This If you're a Philadelphia 76ers fan, you just have to shake your head in disappointment because this team had quote so much talent, but they just cannot get past the Boston Celtics. This is going to be the second time in 3 years they get bounced out by the Celtics.
yeah. And on paper, when you look at the 76ers, they're a championship contender, no doubt. But they haven't proved it. They're similar to almost like a Lightning in the NHL. In the playoffs, they aren't the same team.
Mm-mm. No, they are not. It's sad because I want to see Joel Embiid prove his doubters wrong. I want to see Ben Simmons go out and do more. I want to see this team at its full strength, but I just can't get the opportunity to see that because they keep getting hurt.
You want to see Ben Simmons do more, as in hit a three?
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's never gonna happen.
oh man, yeah, I completely forgot about his infamous inability to shoot the 3 pointer because the Sixers are that inconsistent. Um, but yeah, that series has been a disappointment. It's sad, but hey, that sets us up for a much better matchup, in Raptors Celtics because well, I think the Raptors are going to complete the sweep. Even though originally said Raptors in five, I mean the
Yeah,
way
I
that
did
the
too.
Raptors have been playing.
Yeah, I see. We both said Raptors in five, but now I have seen the Raptors play the game of basketball, and they look really, really good. We both probably should have said a sweep because I don't see Brooklyn even coming close to the Raptors. The Raptors have been unstoppable and really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, maybe if you threw KD and Kyrie into that mix, we'd have a
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
different series.
I definitely agree. And DeAndre Jordan, Spencer Dinwiddie, who's obviously not playing in the bubble. Um, Yeah, this is not the best matchup for Brooklyn at all.
Yeah, no. It's funny because I said the Raptors were gonna take the Nets to five, but I said they were gonna sweep the Celtics in the next round. So I'm gonna stick by that.
Yeah,
I'm doing.
I wouldn't be mad at that. And it's kind of crazy. It almost looks like Toronto is playing better than Milwaukee. In my honest opinion,
Yeah.
I never would have thought that, especially when they lose Kawhi in the offseason. But we saw Orlando take Milwaukee by surprise. We haven't seen Brooklyn come close to doing that. So
Mm-mm.
I feel like Toronto almost maybe the favorite coming out of the East.
Ooh, I mean, hey, I got them going to the Eastern. I got them winning the East. So thanks for backing me up.
Yeah,
But
in my bracket, I picked Milwaukee to go to the finals. So you know,
high tensions if they have that rematch.
yeah,
If
I would almost like to see it this year even more.
Oh yeah, definitely, dude. But dude, we both disagreed on the Heat Pacers series, and this might be my finest victory in the NBA playoffs yet.
Yeah, I just thought Indiana was going to play better, especially with Oladipo and T.J. Warren, and they haven't at all, and it has been almost. Uh, I mean, the games have been decently close all the way up until like 5 minutes left in the game. But I'm surprised by Miami. I didn't expect Derek Jones Jr. to get back that quickly. He obviously played game one, and I see why you picked them, and I probably should have done the same.
Yeah, even without Kendrick Nunn being a big impact
Yeah.
too. Duncan Robinson's been going crazy though.
Ugh. Sorry. Sorry, Duncan. I don't have any hard feelings against you. You just went to Michigan, so. Um,
Oh my gosh, dude. But yeah, dude. Um, I'm honestly disappointed. I felt like the Heat were going to win this series, but I didn't think it was going to be like this. I mean, the 3 games have basically been the same story. Close, like you said, up until some point in the fourth quarter, and the Pacers just melt down.
yeah, and as you said, I wish the series was just a tad bit more closer. I think it'd bring more entertainment to that series, which we all thought it would have. I thought that honestly would be the most entertaining series, and it hasn't really grown up to that hype. So I guess we'll have to see if anything changes in the next couple of days.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate, but speaking of entertaining, wow. You know, I have a personal favorites. One of my personal favorite cities in this country, even though I've never been to it. It's been San Diego. San
Oh wait,
Diego
wait,
just got a
wait,
new
wait, wait,
nickname.
wait, wait, wait. Did you say San Diego?
Yes, San Diego.
I thought after this weekend, I thought it was called Slam Diego.
Oh, Slam Diego. You mean the city where we're seeing grand slams from the San Diego or Slam Diego Padres left and right, 5 grand slams in 6 games. Oh, that city. Yeah, I remember that. Seriously
Dude,
though, they've been going crazy.
and I'm here for it to say I have enjoyed Fernando Tatis. He has been so exciting to watch, and he may be the next MLB's favorite player because we saw last week that the Rangers were so upset that he hit a grand slam on a 3-0 pitch and that he broke the unwritten rules. Who cares? Throw a better pitch on 3-0 if you don't want him to hit it.
Exactly, dude. I mean, it's the game of baseball. I mean, dude, and even at that, bro, it's not like any lead is absolutely impossible. I mean, hey, I remember the Cleveland Indians came back on the Seattle Mariners like back in 2001. I don't know if you remember that game, but it was like one game on Sunday Night Baseball. Like the Mariners were up like I don't know 10, 15ish runs, and
Hmm.
the Mariners choked. I mean, you I'm gonna have to show you that game
Yeah,
when we're
definitely.
done. But dude, no lead in baseball is really safe. And that game in 2001 proved it. So you need all the runs you can get. And hey, it's baseball. You can't just, with baseball, there's only one team on offense per inning. Um, why not just keep why not keep progressing? Fernando is progressing. Why do you want to, get mad because he's progressing? I understand you're the opponent, but dude, if you guys were in the lead, don't you think you guys would like to get some contact, get some hits, get some homers so you can get confidence progressing later in the season?
I saw the funniest thing that definitely goes along with that exact same statement. I I saw something where it was a Rangers like fan page or something, but they were so mad about Fernando Tatis hitting that 3-0 grand slam, but didn't the Rangers beat the Orioles 30-3 in the highest scoring game ever? I think so. That's basically contradicting their statement. That is so stupid.
Oh my
I
gosh.
it's the game of baseball. It's a game. What do you want him to do? Just look at it and just not hit it? Like it's a 3-0 pitch, throw a better pitch. And then the worst part was that Fernando Tatis, he had to apologize after for hitting a grand slam. That is
Oh my
ridiculous.
gosh. See, that's stupid. I think the Rangers, I think they're really salty. I mean, they lost their last 7 games. That's bad enough. But you're gaining some bad publicity with this soft mindset of you hit a grand slam on us. Apologize to us.
Yeah, and then I think the pitch after that they threw up Manny Machado. So like they I don't know why they took so much offense to that. Like again, throw a better pitch if you don't want him to hit it. It's as simple as that.
Exactly. It's as simple as that. And it's a 3-0 pitch. Who doesn't want to swing on a 3-0 pitch? It's a 3-0 pitch.
Especially when they're up big. That's a green light all day.
Dude,
100%.
come on, Texas. I know they're better than this, but dude, come on, man. Wow.
Speaking
So
of Texas, the Padres haven't only beaten the Rangers, they have beaten the Astros, and not by a little. They have beaten them by a lot.
yeah, that's when the Slam Diego mantra really, started to sink in for me because the announcer for the Padres has been Grand Slam Diego. I'm just like, oh my goodness, this dude is awesome for that.
Dude, Friday was the only day in 6 games that they didn't hit a grand slam. So I don't know even have any words to explain that. Like that is insane.
It's crazy, dude. And the Padres, I'm so glad that they're doing this. I love this. I love seeing the Padres, succeeding and stuff. Only thing is I wish they switched back to the navy blue and cream color scheme, but that's besides the point. The fact is that they are a better team this year and they're coming into their own as, a group. The chemistry is built up. The chemistry and the ability to hit home runs. The long ball has obviously been much better this year. So, seeing the Padres like this, it's amazing.
It really is, and it's almost no surprise if you look at the roster. Eric Hosmer, who was a part of that Royals World Series championship team. You got Myers, who's in right field, who came up with the Rays, and he was a pretty good young prospect until he got dealt to the Slam Diego. But they also have Manny Machado, and not to mention Fernando Tatis, who, in my opinion, has been the MVP. He leads the league in home runs, RBIs, stolen bases. That is the type of player I love to watch, who's just full of energy and doesn't care how he finds success. He has been so fun to watch.
He definitely has, man. But hey, it's mid-season. This is only a 60-game season. Some teams are about to hit 30. So I think it's pretty fair that we start playoff talking.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, so obviously with the new playoff format, there's 16 teams that are gonna be in the playoffs. Obviously, 8 from each league. Um, But the top 3 seeds are going to be the division winners, of course. The 4 through 6 seeds are going to be the second place division winners, and the 7th and 8th seeds are going to be the next best 2 teams, regardless of division. And so I found I used the MLB's philosophy, the little playoff philosophy, and I formulated the current playoff matchups, and I saw some pretty interesting matchups, both all across the board, primarily because, well, some of these I've never seen before. Others are very familiar matchups. I guess I'll start with the 8-1 matchups. The National League sees the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers.
Oh, I like that series, honestly. It may be a sweep for the Dodgers, but I would love to see a pitching matchup between Clayton Kershaw and Bumgarner. I would love to see that.
Ooh.
I would love to see that. Bumgarner, who was first year with the Diamondbacks, but that those two have been definitely the best pitchers in the West. So I would love to see a matchup between those two.
Yeah, the NL West, that's very, very intriguing for an A1 matchup. But hey, A1 matchups have been like that. So what should we expect?
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah, speaking of A1 matchups, we got another good A1 matchup. I mean, the Blue Jays and the Athletics.
Yeah, that is another good one because we've seen the Athletics play very, very well this season, and they have made the playoffs in the past few years. But I would not be surprised to see an upset because when you see a team filled with the young talent that the Blue Jays have, I would not be surprised to see an upset. You got Vladimir Guerrero, who should have honestly won the home run derby last year, but not off of that. He's just an overall good player, and I feel like he would be the key to an upset for the Blue Jays.
Interesting. I'm telling you, all these series are bangers. The next one, this is a rematch of that NL wild card matchup from a couple of years back. Rockies versus Cubs.
I do not think this year it's going to be as boring because the Cubs have played a lot better than they did for the wild card series the other year. But
Hmm.
I could see the Cubs being a World Series contender this year. So
Yeah, definitely. They just got to keep this stuff up, and they'll be right there. But they're not the only Chicago team in the mix. The White Sox could be going up against the Rays as of right now.
I would love to see that series because we've seen the White Sox almost they have been very similar to the Padres in that they have gone on a hot streak. They have went completely off the grid and they have won 7 straight games and basically all of them stem from the home run because they hit 6 against the Cubs the other night, won 10-1. So this year I heard an interesting point where that this year since it's a 60 game season, this is the year where we could see an inner city championship. Who knows? Cubs White
Ooh,
Sox. I feel
oh
like if
man,
any year it would be this year.
ooh baby, I'd love to see that. You know how crazy this place is gonna go if that happens, even though it's a pandemic.
Yeah. I would I I don't think Chicago would care. You saw what happened when the Cubs won their World Series. Literally everyone in the state of Illinois came out to that parade. So just imagine if there it was both White Sox and Cubs. Personally, would not be my favorite series to watch, but I know you would enjoy that series very much.
Oh, definitely. We have an abundance of Cubs and White Sox fans amongst our peers, so that'd be very, very interesting. Talk of some classrooms, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But we also have another interesting playoff rematch that went horrifically wrong for me last year. Cardinals Braves.
Yeah. We saw the crazy upset from the Cardinals, but the Cardinals this year, they have not played as many games as any other team in the league. So I I just feel like it would almost be odd seeing them in the playoffs. Dude, I mean, obviously, if they continue to miss games and they're technically in the race for making the playoffs, I just feel like it'd be weird. We haven't seen much of them at all this year. They've only played 16 games. That's weird.
Yeah, that's very, very weird. But another weird team that we're in the playoffs, the Miami Marlins. They'd be going up against Slam Diego, the Padres.
Dude, that would be such a fun series to watch, honestly. Padres Marlins. If I told you last year that, you know what, I think the Marlins and the Padres will make the playoffs next year, you'd think I'm crazy.
Yes, definitely.
So
that oh my god.
I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
Yeah, I really would. And the Padres, they've been so good lately. They had their afternoon game today against the Astros bumped into ESPN's telecast.
Yeah,
That's
I
so,
like
so
that.
yeah, I love that. May not be the night game that gets all the attention, but it's still the Padres on ESPN. Big boost for that team.
I agree.
Yes, but you know what? If there's any series that could have the potential of being an in-game home run derby, it's Astros and Twins.
Yeah, we have seen the Twins last year. Their home run ball was basically the key to their season. And I think it will be interesting seeing the Astros in the playoffs after the reports have come out that they cheated. I just feel like the entire series would be totally different.
Yeah, that'd be a very, very juicy storyline. And the last potential matchup, another rematch from the ALDS a few years back. Yankees Indians.
I've seen the Indians win 20 straight games against the Tigers, and they definitely, I could see them pulling an upset, especially since the Yankees again this year are drooling with injuries. Like I've never seen a team have this many injuries, especially to their big star players. Like what is going on?
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's a big reason why the Rays are actually leading AL East right now.
Yeah, yeah,
It-
it's crazy. The injuries just are the downfall of the New York Yankees.
yeah, and I don't get it. Who is their strength and conditioning coach? Because how do you keep letting this happen?
Every week I see a report saying like Aaron Judge hamstring, Giancarlo Stanton forearm. Like it's so bizarre.
Look, I know my last name starts with I and ends with L, but you don't have to put it all over the Yankees, you know?
Yeah, I just feel like they have been cursed by injury gods. Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is, man. But hey, didn't you have an NHL trivia question for us?
Yeah, I did. This one was I'd say a little bit easier than yours last week because that was very crazy, but also very very interesting. My trivia question from last week was, what are two NHL teams that originated in Canada and moved to the US? And my hint was that these two teams played each other in this year's playoffs. Any
Uh,
guesses?
Now, when I got into the NHL, I knew, and I have a couple of NHL games from different periods of time. I got NHL 13 and ESPN NHL 2K5.
Mm.
I knew that the Winnipeg Jets were kind of like the traveler team. I believe they were once the Atlanta Thrashers, and then they were another team, and then so the Winnipeg Jets were. I knew they were a team that kind of bounces around a little bit, so I figured they'd be one of the teams, but I have no idea who would be the other one.
Okay, so this is interesting, especially since you're decently new to hockey and the history. The Quebec Nordiques. They
Oh,
they moved to Colorado, and that is now the Avalanche. Isn't that interesting?
whoa, wait, what is a Nordic? Wait,
I think a Nordique is um a Nordique. What? I think it's an animal. I think no. Let me look this up.
are you serious?
No. What is
What is
Nordique?
a Nordic? I mean, you say it's an animal of some sort, and I mean, hey, if it used to be if they
Oh, I
what
get it. It's it's a French. It's like obviously French Quebec. So in English, it's translated Quebec City Northman. So I guess
oh
a person in from North Canada. I'm guessing that's interesting.
okay, so we have cardinal directions as our secret meaning in this name. Okay, okay.
Yeah, that is interesting. I didn't know that. Uh,
Yeah, wow. Well, I guess it's my turn to ask the trivia question. But this week, I think, no, I know, I'm gonna shift to video games a little bit, just a little
okay.
bit. So my question this week is: who are the only two football players to ever make the cover of both NCAA football and Madden?
That's a good question. I feel like there's so many. Yeah, I like that question. It's definitely again very unique.
Yeah, and I asked that question because, well, Madden is coming out this week for everybody and stuff. So I felt like I needed to get a video game-ish question out there before I started raging on Madden 21's blandness and shortage on content and stuff like that. So yeah, video game question.
Makes
Cool.
sense. I'm not mad at it. That's a good question.
Yeah. Oh, breaking news: Ravens moving on from Earl Thomas.
I saw that. I heard he got into a fight with a fellow teammate, and that's almost crazy because immediately right after, Baltimore's like, nah, you got to go. So I guess Baltimore is not playing.
Another safety, another all pro safety that's going to be on the move.
And the leading candidate to get him, the Dallas Cowboys. That is interesting.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's see if they can actually get a safety this time. But yeah, man, we talked about a lot today, man. I mean, playoff mania starting to really kick in now, especially with the MLB joining the mix.
Yeah, we only covered 3 topics, but this was by far our longest and most exciting episode. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh man, the Capitals just fired their coach. Like literally, this just happened like a second
Yeah,
ago. They just
yeah.
oh my gosh.
People are getting shut down left and right, and in the NBA as well. So
Yeah, these coaches.
coaches are not safe.
No, they are not. They are. It is a hot volcano seat. Very hot. But same time next week.
Yes, sir. If you guys enjoyed the podcast, please be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. Follow us on our social medias on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Do all of that. Leave us topics or things that you want to see us talk about. And thank you for listening. We'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.